Analysis of bases. Now, we go to the last one, Vathu Sangaha, or analysis of bases. Vathu means base, and Sangaha means summary, so this is a summary of bases. Vathu, here, is the seat of sense organs. What are the sense organs? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and heart. These 6 seats are physical bases that correspond to the 6 senses. Here are the 6 bases. 1. Kakuvatu, eye base. 2. Sotavathu, ear base. 3. Ganavathu, nose base. 4. Jivhavatu, tongue base. 5. Kayavatu, body base. 6. Hidayavatu, heart base. How many types of consciousness arise at these 6 bases? Let's take a look. How many types of consciousness arise dependent upon the eye base? 2. What are they? The 2 types of eye consciousness. Eye consciousness cannot arise without eye sensitivity, right? Similarly, the 2 types of ear consciousness arise dependent upon the ear base. The 2 types of nose consciousness arise dependent upon the nose base. The 2 types of tongue consciousness arise dependent upon the tongue base. And the 2 types of body consciousness arise dependent upon the body base. So, just one base for each of them. Now, let's go to Hidayavatu, or heart base. How many types of consciousness arise dependent upon the heart base? 33. What are they? They are the 2 types of dosa mula sata, the 3 types of manadatu, the 3 types of investigating consciousness, the 1 type of smile-producing consciousness, the 8 types of great resultant consciousness, the 15 types of rupavikara consciousness, and the 1 type of sotapati magga sata. Altogether, these 33 types of consciousness always arise dependent upon the heart base. Then, there are 42 types of consciousness that sometimes arise dependent upon the heart base, and sometimes without any base. What are they? They are the 8 types of Lobha Mula Sata, the 2 types of Moha Mula Sata, the 1 type of Manadvaravajana, the 8 types of sense sphere beautiful wholesome consciousness, the 8 types of sense sphere beautiful functional consciousness, the 4 types of wholesome formless sphere consciousness, the 4 types of functional formless sphere consciousness, and all the Lokutra Sata except Sotapati Magga. Altogether, these 42 types of consciousness can arise without a base. These types of consciousness can arise in the plane of 5 aggregates or 4 aggregates. In other words, they can arise in either the sense sphere plane or the form sphere plane. When they arise in these planes, they do so dependent upon Hidaya. But when they arise in the formless sphere, they have no eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, or heart. This is why these 42 types of consciousness either depend upon, or are independent of, the heart base. Heart doesn't mean the mind. Bases are material properties, right? We have eye sensitivity, ear sensitivity, nose sensitivity, tongue sensitivity, body sensitivity, and heart. Heart is the seat of consciousness. But there are different ideas about this. Some of the commentaries from back in the day describe heart as the seat of consciousness, but the Buddha didn't describe it exactly like that. He said that our mind is based upon rupa, maybe the heart, maybe the brain, or perhaps some other material property. But the commentaries say it's based upon the heart base. There are also 4 types of consciousness that arise with no vathu, no base. What are they? They are the 4 types of formless sphere resultant consciousness. What is their function? Padasandhi, Bhavanga, and Kuti. They perform this function in the formless sphere, right? There, they have no form. As such, the 4 types of formless sphere resultant consciousness are independent of any base. Among the 31 planes of existence, there are 11 sense sphere planes, right? What are they? They are the 4 woeful states, the human world, and the 6 celestial realms. There are also 16 form sphere planes, among which is 1 plane of mindless beings, whereas beings in the other 15 planes have mind and matter, and 4 formless sphere planes. All 6 vathu are found in the 11 sense sphere planes. This means that we can find all 6 bases in the woeful states, the human world, and among celestial beings. All these beings have eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and heart. But there are exceptions. In the case of those who are born blind, do they have eye base? No. And those who are born deaf have no ear base. In 15 of the form sphere planes, not including the plane of mindless beings, we can find beings with eye base, ear base, and heart base. What does this mean? It means they don't have nose base, tongue base, or body base. Why is that? The eye base, the ear base, and the heart base can be used for good purposes. When the Buddha appeared in the world and gained enlightenment, these Brahma came to pay respect to him. If they didn't have eye base, they couldn't see him. They would have been unable to use their eye base to serve this good purpose. They wanted to have eyes, so these Brahma had eyes. As for the ear base, they wanted to listen to the Buddha. They need the ear base for this good purpose, and that's why they have it. And as for Hidayah, they also wanted to have the seat of consciousness. This is why the Brahma in these 15 planes have these 3 bases. What about them lacking nose base, tongue base, and body base? They felt they didn't need to be burdened by these. You can't gain merit from your nose, your tongue, or your body. The Brahma figured these were useless. Since their desire for sensual pleasures was temporarily inhibited, they saw no need for nose base, tongue base, or body base. And that's why when they were reborn in the form sphere planes, they didn't have these 3 bases. Now, even though they don't have nose, tongue, or body sensitivity, the organs still exist. I'm not saying that they don't have a nose or a tongue. The organs exist, but not their sensory faculties. There's no sensitivity. Nowadays, you can stand in front of Caesar's palace here in Las Vegas and see a statue of a 4-faced Brahma. Some people think it's a statue of a 4-faced Buddha, but it's not. It's a Brahma. But a Brahma has only one face, just like us. They have eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, one face. The 4 faces on the statue represent the 4 sublime states: metta, loving kindness; karuna, compassion; mudita, sympathetic joy; and upekkha, equanimity. It's just a statue that people created. Lacking nose sensitivity, these beings don't know good or bad smells. They can't experience either one. And when people offer food to these Brahma, they have no tongue sensitivity to taste it. They don't eat like us, anyway. They just stay with their jhana. And when you touch their body, they cannot feel it. There's no sensation, because they have no body sensitivity. In the 4 formless sphere planes, there are no vathu found, no bases. How can they survive? Mind alone exists, even without a seat of consciousness. They can exist by the power of their meditation. So now we know how many bases beings in the various planes of existence have. The 7 Vijnanadhatu. We also have 7 Vijnanadhatu. How many types of consciousness are there? 89, in brief. Among these 89 types of consciousness, we have the 7 Vijnanadhatu. 1. The 2 types of eye consciousness are together called Cakkhu Vijnanadhatu, or eye consciousness element. 2. The 2 types of ear consciousness are together called Sota Vijnanadhatu, or ear consciousness element. 3. The 2 types of nose consciousness are together called Ghana Vijnanadhatu, or nose consciousness element. 4. The types of tongue consciousness are together called Jivha Vijnanadhatu, or tongue consciousness element. 5. The 2 types of body consciousness are together called Kaya Vijnanadhatu, or body consciousness element. 6. The 2 types of Sampadachana, receiving consciousness, and the 1 type of Panyukadvaravajana are together called Manadhatu, or mind element. 7. The remaining 76 types of consciousness are together called Manavijnanadhatu, or mind consciousness element. Please note that mind element and mind consciousness element are different. All 89 types of consciousness are encompassed within these 7 Vijnanadhatu. Dhatu refers to that which carries its own characteristics. They are devoid of being, or life. What's the characteristic of eye consciousness? Just seeing. Is it a being? No, it's not a man, a woman, and it's not you or I. Seeing is nothing more than eye consciousness. That is its characteristic. This dhatu is that which carries its own characteristic. Again, they are devoid of being, or life. We've been studying all these realities, right? These aren't beings, they're not life, it's just their nature. Now that we know about the 31 planes of existence, we know about the 7 Vijnanadhatu, and we know what Vijnanadhatu the various beings in the various planes have, I would like to take just a few more minutes to elaborate. Among the 11 sense sphere planes, how many elements are there? All 7. These 7 elements are dependent upon how many bases? All 6. Among the 15 form sphere planes, excluding, of course, the plane of mindless beings, how many elements are there? 4. What are they? They are Cakkhu Vijnanadhatu, Sota Vijnanadhatu, Manadhatu, and Manavijnanadhatu. These 4 elements are dependent upon how many bases? 3. What are they? They are the eye base, ear base, and the heart base. Among the 4 formless sphere planes, how many elements are there? They don't have form, right? So they have only Manavijnanadhatu. They don't have eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, or even Manadhatu, which takes the 5 sense objects. This mind consciousness element depends on what base? It doesn't depend on any base, no base. How about Tadaramana? This is the 3 types of Santirana and the 8 types of Mahavipaka. These 11 types of consciousness do not arise in the formless plane. Why? Because of the absence of any door or any function. Beings in those planes don't have eye doors, ear doors, nose doors, tongue doors, or body doors, right? Therefore, Tadaramana cannot arise in those 4 planes. What about aversion, i.e., the 2 types of dosa mula sata? They cannot arise in the rupa or arupa planes. Why? Because aversion has been inhibited by those born in those planes. If they had anger, they couldn't have gained jhana. As such, they couldn't have been reborn in those planes. So, because they have temporarily inhibited aversion, dosa mula sata cannot arise in those planes. What about Sotapatti Magga? This cannot arise in the formless planes. Why? Because to gain this first stage of sainthood one must hear the Dhamma from another. If you cannot hear the Dhamma, you cannot know how to practice to attain stream entry. That's why a Sotapatti Magga person cannot exist in the formless planes. You can't gain the first stage of enlightenment in these planes simply because you lack the appropriate base, e.g., the ear base. You must hear the Dhamma from another. What about Hasatuppada? Smile-producing consciousness cannot arise in the formless plane. Why? They don't have mouths, right? So they can't smile. They have no body at all. Also, those beings born in the formless planes have temporarily inhibited the desire for form sphere jhana. Since beings reborn in these 4 formless planes have no desire to be reborn in the form sphere planes, Rupavikara Sata cannot arise in the formless sphere. Okay, let's stop here for now. Thank you.